them see me, be make gun them a chat. Passing up the place with my style, but.
Good morning and welcome to Sunup on 7. My name is Renata Samuels-Card.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kevin Mendes. Welcome to your Wednesday episode of Sunup on 7. Thank you so much for welcoming Renata and I into your space. Ren, let's tease them what can they expect on today's show.
Excitement is coming in because we all love them. And of course, we're here to learn about them. We're going to be talking about World Tapir Day. What does that mean? Where you need to go, all the excitement about that. It was going to talk about Gracie. Oh, I don't know. Stay tuned for all of that. But what else do we have up our sleeve, Kavito?
There's a book week event that's taking place this week, and today we're going to find out more details. There's exciting celebrations from market nights. You can get special deals on books, like different lectures. So stay tuned to that conversation to find out all the details of how you can participate in this amazing event.
All our bookies are going to be very happy about that. But all that and so much more, you know how this works. Put your comments in the comment section. Make it live interactive when you judge. Of course.
Yes.
Shall we get to the couch?
Let's do this to the couch.
Anyway, them see me, be make gun them a chat. Passing up the place with my style, but. Rica y bailas una chimba. Las europeas, la latina y la gringa.
I've come to find that the truth isn't what we were told. So where
to everybody on Sunup.
do I seek the answer that's worth looking for today? Just in time,
And he's here to talk to us
the
about
writing appears on
the
the
show that we're on
wall.
right now. Tell me, this
And
one you're
I were the first ones to see.
And we're going to be talking about the hush hush that has been
The
happening
world
over
that
the
we
weekend.
see
So
may seem that will never change. They say, but if you tear down the wall that's blinding us all, you'll see the way today. A place to call your home, a place where you can go. Stand by me and we'll take flight. We'll be there at morning's light. I've got you covered on all concerns we share today. You will discover how the world turns each day when the sun comes up.
Muy buenos dias, beautiful Sunup on 7 family. Welcome to your Wednesday episode. Thank you so much for welcoming Renata into your space. If you're watching via Facebook, YouTube, or cable TV, we are absolutely thrilled to be in your company. It's April 22nd, like I said, and we're very excited about today's episode. Before we get into it, let's bring you the weather, and that's courtesy of the Belize Met Service.
Good morning, Belize. Our latest radar imagery, satellite and surface observation showed skies were clear to partly cloudy with only isolated showers observed over the extreme southern coast. Elsewhere was mostly dry. Mainly fair weather conditions prevail. The 24-hour forecast, sunny skies with a few cloudy spells today and clear to partly cloudy skies tonight. Showers will be isolated. The maximum temperatures for today will reach 87 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 94 inland, and 83 up in the hills. The low temperatures for tonight will be around 79 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 72 inland, and 64 up in the hills. The winds will be from the east-southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and the sea conditions will be slight. A low tide will occur this morning at 6:52, followed by a high tide this afternoon at 1:14, another low tide tonight at 9:15, and another high tide early tomorrow morning at 3:41. The sun will set this evening at 6:10 and will rise early tomorrow morning at 5:31. The moon will rise this morning at 10:16 and will set just before midnight at 11:58. In the sargassum forecast, the major influx of sargassum is expected to continue across coastal destination during the next few days. In the fire risk forecast, the risk for forest or brush fires will be high to moderate over the country. The outlook for Thursday and Thursday night is for fair, warm, and mostly dry conditions. Showers, if any, will be isolated. For a review of our forecast and other products, please visit our website at nms.gov.bz. Our next forecast comes out at 12 p.m. afternoon. With that, we end this morning's forecast from the Belize National Met Service.
And this is our weather.
That's our weather update. Definitely, we're welcoming the warm weather already, which is very good. I really...
Man,
No.
it's hot. It's hot.
That is
like,
true.
man, you feel, whoo, Lord, whatever you're the bake, I promise you it's done. Like, take it out of the oven. I promise you it's done. Because
It's baking you. That's
it's
what
baking me. I am becoming the baked. Like, geez, Louise, God.
It's like, Lord, already have the proper color.
I
Take
know,
me out
like,
of the
my
oven.
melanin be popping, God. I don't need the extra crispy with some barbecue on the side. I don't need it right now, but it's been hot. I think it started from, I've been feeling it from Saturday, but Sunday was extremely hot. Monday was like coming up, and then I spoke to a friend yesterday, and she was saying, yeah, there's a heat wave over us. And
Yeah,
you can feel
definitely.
it.
So again, it encourages people to stay hydrated.
Drink your
keep
water.
your animals hydrated. Also, like if you have any elderly in your household, also keep them hydrated.
Take your
Stay
shower
under
at a
the
time.
shade, take a shower in time. All of those things is very, very key. And use your sunblock. That's also like very important.
Yes, black people,
Mm-hmm.
my people of color, please remember that you do get sunburn. So please also use sunscreen. I don't know why sometimes we feel like we don't get it, and we do. So we have to take care of our skin, keep hydrated, even though, you might feel like I can't deal with the hydration, but you do also have to have the added layer with you. So all this in itself, guys, let's be kind, as it's hot and people might get frustrated in the heat and get flustered.
In the
'cause-
height?
In the height of the heat.
In the height of the heat.
All of that in one.
How's your energy level today? Let me ask.
It is good. I am feeling flowery, as you can clearly tell.
As you can clearly
We're
see.
popping out our Stella Clay earrings, and we doing our yellow schmellow vibes. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling ready for the day to take it on. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling
Kavita?
fresh.
You look fresh.
I'm feeling fresh.
My
I'm
barber
feeling
made it.
good.
My barber made it suffer during that time. So he's like, give me the special. Make me look like a Kevin Flair pop.
Yes, definitely. I mean, like, there's like, again, such a power going for a fresh haircut.
Yeah, and looking all dapper.
I'm
Look at
ready.
you.
I'm excited for today.
Look
I'm excited
at you,
for what's gonna
babe.
come. Yeah.
I see you.
Conquering
the world.
conquering the world
One
spirit.
haircut at a time.
Yes, longer. Somebody saying long is long. It's been a long way since having long hair to having like.
You did the blonde, like the dye hair, the fresh haircuts. Like Kevin has been shifting and
Growing,
evolving and
evolving,
navigating
definitely.
and just doing whatever he feels is best for his hair in that day. Like we have to fire the ballet. Women have to fire the ballet, the hair, the long hair. I remember that was a whole thing. It's like, what about it with the long hair? People are asking questions.
That is true. That is true. Shout out to my barber Ryan Marios.
Big up to Ryan.
Thank
Come
you,
through, Ryan.
Yes, Ren. But let's get started with our couch talk.
And I know
Are
this
we?
one is going to start a lot
so
of commotion.
definitely we invite our viewers to join us in our couch talk. If you're watching via Facebook Live, you're able to leave your comments on our Facebook Live chat. We'll do our best to be able to address it. But if we do not go to your comment, just know it's a contribution to our conversation here on Sunup on 7. And it definitely is a valuable perspective, which again, whatever we share on Couch Talk, we hope that it resonates within you. If it doesn't, but at least starts a conversation within your different spaces that you navigate.
100%.
Our first conversation on our Couch Talk is the common law asked for the charges to be withdrawn against abusive cop. But who was there to stand up for her 8-year-old?
And so this is circulating from a video that this was something that took place way in February.
February.
And so we're just reporting back because, of course, it's been giving a lot of traction because, of course, now we look at the common law dropping the charges, and people have been seeing the videos, so they're asking why drop the charges, who's there to stand up for the little boy. Like, there's so much people coming to the young boy's defense, which I totally understand as an 8-year-old. This stems, and if you have not seen the video, it stems from a domestic dispute that took place in their home, where apparently there was black dirt somewhere in the home, and the wife was being patronized and assaulted about it. The young boy at 8 years old grabbed a metal bat to come and kind of defend his mom. And in that whole motion, he grabbed the bat from the little boy and then, knocked him in his head 2 times. I will say one time, like, he knocked him and he kind of knocked into the table, and then after that knocked him again, and then of course the wife was there and she was trying to like prevent any more action and send him in his room. We also want to report that there was a report done on the boy and he had some harm done to his eye. So I really want to also
from the injury that the stepfather caused on him.
Exactly. So I want to like make that very clear. It wasn't just like, oh, it was just a knock and it wasn't anything too serious. There was an injury that was gotten from these knocks.
And why this video is resurfacing is because in February, when this incident happened, the victim did press charges against police officer Philip Garbott. However, yesterday, when they appeared in court to testify, she withdrew all charges against him. So that's really like what sparked the outrage on yesterday on social media. Saying the video has recirculated. They see the evidence where he is assaulting both the common law wife and his stepchild. The charges are withdrawn. And so like people are saying, okay, like why did you withdraw the charges? One, but the next thing is now what happens that the charges were withdrawn completely. So what happens to the protection of this 8-year-old?
Yes.
Right. So now that has taken many angles where the director of social services saying we were never consulted about, they were aware about the situation. They were aware that there was an 8-year-old that was a victim of this domestic violence situation, but they were like, we were never consulted. And
we didn't know that the charges were dropped. They haven't dropped any charges there, and they're still pursuing the matter.
So that's one. The next thing is the biological father of the child is saying that the court failed to protect his child against this incident because he's clearly also a victim of police officer Philip Garbott. And they're saying, we need to do something about this. So now he's discussing with his attorneys to be able to see how they can bring back the case to ensure that the child is protected in this situation.
You know, there's so much layers to this. I will say, I'm disappointed in how the public has reacted to the common law wife. And the reason I say this is because for persons that are in this situation, yes, anybody can say, well, if I'm me, I'm gonna take my son out, I'm gonna never drop the charges or so forth, but you don't understand the psychological turmoil that somebody is in when they're in abusive situations and relationships. And we've talked about this here on the couch, you know, multiple times when we talk about gender-based violence and why people go back and why people stay for so long and these different things. And we understand it's not just a one clean cut where it's like, okay, they can just walk away. We don't necessarily know all of the things that come when it comes to economic, when it comes to psychological, when it comes to whatever pull there might be in that relationship to cause somebody to stay. But I understand people's concern when it comes to having an 8-year-old that literally just was trying to protect his mom in that moment and being hurt in that overall aspect because, of course, standing up to somebody that is supposed to be protecting him in this place as a stepfather. So there's a lot of different, you know, back and forth and feelings towards this thing. I will also say that CEO Elton Bennett has commented on it and made mention that they are in conversation with the Commissioner of Police and they're looking at seeing some form of tribunal action to be taken place because this is not something that looks well on the police department. And also he mentioned that, you know, this is not something that they condone when it comes to officers' behavior. So we do know that he has made that comment. How far has that gone? We don't know as yet, but we do know that he has made that comment that some level of trial is going to be taking place when it comes to the police department specifically, beyond just looking at, you know, charges that have been withdrawn from the common law. You know, we look at these situations and we have a lot of things to say towards it, but we have to also understand that there's this rooted issue in us not being able to know how to provide support sometimes for mothers that are in hard situations, that maybe seen domestic violence growing up and have been in it for so many years that they just go from there's a pattern that they go from a partner to a partner. And we don't understand that there's so much layers towards getting out and wanting more for yourself.
And if you would look at, we're not sure about what the situation here, but if you look at the child,
Yes.
you know, going back to the child and the child being witness of the abuse that's taking place in his house, you could say similarly, you know, when this child grows up, you know, the cycle does not break if he does not receive the proper interventions to heal from the situation that he's going through. And that's what keeps a lot of people in this cycle of violence again, right? Child traumas just continue reliving itself from the exposure you got in your household. And now you grow up as an older adult with childhood wounds, and you know, maybe you had like abandonment issues, all of these things where you decide that you're gonna stay with this man because of the fear of abandonment. It doesn't matter if you have a child or not, but just because you want to stay in the situation. So, and then you, as you mentioned something very important, Ren, that whenever we have situations of abuse, there's definitely the power dynamics that takes place here, which in many cases we've seen it, how it intimidates the victim as in regards to doing a proper follow-up in regards to withstanding the cases of like assault and pulling through the entire court case to ensure that, you know, proper justice is received. He's a police officer to start with, you know, so like, we're not sure how this power dynamics is playing within their situation. You know,
Thank you for mentioning that right
he was
there.
out. He was not in prison. She was also out. You have no idea. Like, of course, there was like restrictions in terms of like still like being social with each other, but you never know like what is the gray layers.
What are the conversations? What were the gray layers that took place in that from February to now for
right.
someone to drop a case? And I will want to make mention to, just like people are saying, there's never, ever, ever any tolerance and excuse for domestic violence. And I feel for this family that's going through this. Like Kevin mentioned, you have a little boy that's 8 years old that can be growing up with so many different issues because of seeing his mother be hit on, him be hit on too. And it just seeps through when it comes to family dynamics and what people think is normal and what is okay and what they grow up with being afraid of and all these different things under the sun. So it's definitely a hard situation to be in. I'm hoping, and like persons are saying there, because the father, like you mentioned, has sought to see how lawyers can be involved and continue on with the father of the boy. Because remember, this is a stepfather that committed the domestic violence against the wife and the little boy. So the father, biological father, is pursuing to see if anything can take place. And I also want to look at that aspect of hoping to see that if he could get custody of the child to maybe possibly get into this is just me looking at if the mother does not get out of this situation, to see where is a safe place for this child to be, grow up and evolve and learn and heal.
Well, that's also what he highlights within the interview in terms of when the case was initially introduced to the court or even to the police department in filing a report against this police officer, the Department of Human Services or Social Services should have done something to intervene, saying, okay, there was assault on this woman, but there also like this child was assaulted. So in the best case scenario, according to the father, is that the social services should have intervened and removed the child from the situation while the court proceedings were ongoing, because clearly this child was also a victim and the space was not suitable enough for him to be in. The next comment that came about is that the fact that this child was like brave enough now to handle a bat and go after his stepfather, it kind of alludes that this is not the first experience that this child is going through, to the fact that he probably got tired enough of seeing his mother getting assaulted that he went for a bigger protection method this time, right, which was a bat. Probably the first time it was not that. Probably the first time it was just him telling something to the stepfather, but now
like
he realized there's no stop here, I need to intervene further. And so like, and then the father comes and saying, you know, like, this situation escalated to now, but if you were having, you know, like custodial visit of your child, wouldn't you have been able to like detect that your child is going through the situation? And probably like in most cases, you can see like we have separated, you there with your man and my child, but I'm not gonna, like you decided to go there, right? So I'm not gonna intervene into your personal life, but there's a child here in between. So like, how do you navigate the relationship where there is a child that is being co-parented now? And then you'd be like, my child is telling me this is going on in this household. You know, like even though like you decide as a grown adult, you wanna be in the situation, but what about my child? You know, what is my child telling me? And often there's that separation or disassociation because you decided to live your life, I'm not going to intervene. But at the end of the day, it's still a woman getting assaulted, right? Regardless if you no longer, regardless if you no longer have a relationship with her or
this
not.
is mother for a
so
child.
there's many things where something could have been picked up along the way and did not need to like escalate until this situation now that we're seeing. So what's pending to now to see is like, how will the Department of Human Services react to the protection of this child? what will the police department do now for this police officer, Philip Garbott? Clearly is an abusive cop. You know, what's that going to look like as regards to any charges or any action that will be taken against him?
Because he needs to be dealt with. I'm so sorry. Like, even if it's not something where the charges are continued from the common law wife, I'm really pleading for the police department to look into this, because many people are saying he should not be carrying the title of cop if you are being an abusive partner in this situation. I don't care what the justification is. I don't care what somebody did, because you should never be abusing a child and your partner, where you're supposed to have the role of protecting them in this case. So 100%, I would like to see this dealt with to the fullest extent, allow for this to be a lesson to persons, no matter what your occupation is. Gender-based violence, domestic violence, these things are not right. And your job should never protect you from being able to be inflicting harm in any kind of way to any person whatsoever. So
that is true. That is true.
Cannot.
I hope that the three of them are able to get help.
Yes.
You know, mental health support. Because clearly, you know, the female victim, she needs support. The child also needs support to be able to like heal from this, but also the abuser, because he may move into another relationship and still continue with the same situation if this is not properly
and then losing your
addressed.
job cause of it even more,
Right, so
be angry
the
and
three
all
of
kind of
them
thing if that
need
would have happened.
a mental health intervention here to, you know, heal from whatever trauma they're bringing into their relationships and moving forward with their lives.
But I will say, guys, as we talk about this, please note this is not the only family that's going through something like this in this country. Many of you may be in the same situation or know people in the same situation. And it stems from the bigger conversation of how are we getting help to heal our traumas, to heal our wounds, to move forward in a way that mends the soul of our country, mends the family structures in our country, allow us to understand how to deal with anger, allow us to walk away from hard situations, allow us to speak up when it's wrong, and to not be afraid of whatever the repercussions will be, because your voice needs to be heard. There's so much things that come from situations like this, and it just shows you the gravity of what's taking place in our homes right now. So much people are suffering in this same situation. So again, if you know somebody, or if you are that somebody, I advise you to seek help, to make sure you get counseling, to work through it, because maybe in the moment you're not able to walk away, but through counseling and support from the right persons, you are able to have that strength and courage to walk away for the betterment of whether it be yourself and your children, or just yourself and your family that have to see you being in this situation. And this goes for men and female, because both in this society have been victims to domestic violence. So I just want to put that out there, and it's clear cut, and remind us to try our best to get the help that we need and seek the services necessary.
We move on to our next couch talk topic. And yesterday, the government of Belize introduced a tiered bus service fare. According to them, is to maintain the reliable and accessible transportation services. So after, as we know, yesterday, Belize Bus Association presented, you know, their request for an increase in bus fares to the Minister of Transport, Mr. Zabane. As how it was discussed on the news. Yesterday, they had their cabinet meeting where this proposal or this request was submitted to the cabinet. After deliberation, the government again agreed to increase the bus fares. So what you're going to be seeing right now is a rise in the bus fares to accommodate the rise in operational costs, particularly the fuel price that the bus association is going through. So there's going to be an increase of 18 cents per mile for regular buses, 20 cents per mile for express buses. Now they've added a new category, which is like a premium bus service, and they're going to get a 20 cents per mile for their service. And this is interesting that this new premium has been added, which means that the bus itself needs to not be older than 7 years and have like accommodations like Wi-Fi and AC for them to be classified as premium.
Premium.
Wi-Fi
will
where
work.
are they?
What?
Are they?
Will work. With a premium bus, you can catch a premium bus, yeah?
Yeah,
Man.
so what you're going to be noticing is that the prices should be rounded off to the nearest 25 cents. So if you're paying for a short stop, what used to be $2, now you're going to be paying $2.25. What was interesting about the note here when the conversation with Mr. Zabane came about is that he shared that the Belize Bus Association shared that they had conversations with consumers where the consumers understood the need for them to be able to increase the fare and say, our commuters are with us, you know? So even though it will be hard on them, the increase in fare,
They understand the situation at hand.
Which I'm like, okay.
I would want to see how that
I would- I wanna
consultation
see how
want to
that
take place,
consultation
because I mean, if you talk to 5 people, they're not consultation. Like you just random conversation. Hey, Kevin, in the ketchup bus, would you be okay if I raise it? And then they might be like, well, man, I know how things hard right now. You might have to raise it.
Yeah.
I would want to see how meaningful that conversation. I will not discredit and say it didn't take place.
Exactly. That's
but
my
I just
thing,
would
yeah.
like to see on the scope, on the level, what which districts were spoken
But
to,
like,
and that
how
kind
many
of.
things took place? Like what?
Like
kind of,
how
yeah,
was it? How did you
these
meet her? So if we
consultations
talk
take
to your
place?
consumers, because the consumers are the one that are going to face it. What I found very interesting
Tell me.
was they were also asked the question about the maintenance and the state of the buses and like how consumers feel about prices being raised, but then you're still getting the Pilinki, Brockdong bus, blah, 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 etc. And, Mr. Jones had mentioned how that they have been doing the extensive work of trying to make sure there's proper maintenance. And for the past year, they have made sure that their buses are up to standards, up to par, etc., saying that, their buses are, in tip-top pristine state than before.
Yeah.
So I just put that comment out there.
Yeah, like for me, it's like it's so like a couple like two things that gets me here is that the categories of buses, right? Regular, express, and premium. I feel like as a consumer, as a commuter, considering that you've been paying this amount for your fare, we should have always been riding either an express or a premium bus service, right? It did not need to come to 2026 for us to have a premium category because it's an insult that you had to like travel on the conditions of a regular bus to now say, oh, we have a premium and it's going to cost you so much when it should have been the regular standard from a long time ago.
We're premium babies from a long time.
So like that's one. The next thing is, Ren, is so now there's the agreed and the authorized bus fare increase. But from a week ago, 2 weeks ago, we had reports about bus companies already increasing their bus fare, which was unauthorized. And now you see this taking place. So I feel like this, in a way, sets like a precedence for maybe like if they can come up and say, oh, we want to increase the price again, and there was no enforcement, and then eventually it increased. So like it kind of gives like this space for you to increase the bus price unauthorized, and eventually saying, oh, they will still increase it anyways. I don't know if like
I
it
see
makes
where
sense
that
where I'm coming
process is
from.
going from there.
There should have been, again, a proper process where you say like, okay, it needs to be regularized, authorized before you make an announcement, right? Because consumers need to be protected, right? Because how will I fight against something knowing that, oh, eventually they will still go ahead with it. So it no matter if I do it now or if I do it in 2 weeks because it's still going to come true.
It will still happen.
So there needs to be an enforcement in terms of the proper procedure of how these things take place.
I think it starts and it stems from the fact that in the government, they weren't proactive in the first place too. So we were left to have the bus association to kind of figure out how these prices would look for them that would make sense to be just above the threshold of them being able to break even kind of thing. So it kind of left the government to just say, all right, I'll just accept these rates because the longer you would take for it, remember they were going to be able to strike or shut down and seize Monday. So if we would say, all right, make we do a full assessment for see how things go, the odds are they possibly would have not been able to continue going forward. Now, is it a thing where after seeing everything that took place, the bus, that's our bus now, the government can look and say, okay, this is what's happening right now. This is the placeholder. But let me assess, because I love what Ms. Chandra is saying here in the comments that, has there been an assessment to look
that was my comment to
that, how many miles per gallon a bus gets? Of course, I know it varies based on the conditions of the bus. So, like, I'm loving what she's saying here because is there a proper assessment to look at how much on average are you really making, are you really spending to say if this really equates to how much a bus can be making? Is there a break-even profit, what's taking place in that?
And the variable that she's mentioning, which is the condition of the bus, is very key.
Yeah, because somebody bus.
Because if you know that your bus is functioning at a premium way, then it's more efficient in fuel use. But if your bus, they broke down every minute, reketeke, like smoking and all of these things, then you know that I'm not a vehicle owner, but I interact a lot with like vehicle spaces that I know that it would use more fuel if your bus is not or if your vehicle is not in the appropriate conditions for it to like operate. So obviously it's going to use more fuel than what it should if it was at an optimal condition, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
So where are these like again, this data and this measure.
This is what I'm saying. I feel like there needs to be a proper
justifies.
scope, and I'm sure that the government has some level of understanding, because with the National Bus Association, they have to know how much they're really spending when it comes to bus runs and like what's the profit that's been received from having the full capacity or half capacity or so forth of the buses. So I think there should be data analyzed in this to be able to say, okay, this makes sense when it comes to costs. But again, we hold them to the accountability of, are we having the best proper bus experience for our persons if prices are raised? Like, beyond just breaking even, we have to look at the consumers. We're going in at something where we got to get wet on it, we got to be uncomfortable with what's going to be taking place. I also want to look at that aspect and see where we can be able to be better. But as you may know, consumers, the prices are increasing.
And you can expect the new bus fares to be in place by this Friday. So we move on to our next Couch Talk topic. And the Public Service Union supports the ministry's decision on pausing all transfers this year.
So the transfers have been paused for specifically 1 year. This comes from the public sector union, the public sector ministry, specifically Minister Henry Charles Usher, where he interviewed and was speaking about how they're in a very tough state right now where they need to be having some cost savings. And transfers cost about millions of dollars depending on how they're done throughout the year, well, in the year and in a specific time. He may mention how that with a transfer for persons that don't necessarily always know how these things take place, there is a housing allowance sometimes, there's a transfer allowance of like having to relocate, moving allowance and different things that certain officers get in that time because relocating causes a cost. And so the government would provide some allowances for public service officers to be able to be moved into the specific place. So he's making mention that coming this year, that we normally have transfers in June, July, so that time frame, they're not going to be having transfers until possibly next year, but it's been paused for this year specifically. Now, he does apologize also to persons that do already know that they were going to get transferred. So they've already started to make the different measures of maybe dealing with school, dealing with apartments, relocating, whatever it is that you need to do to make sure things are set up in a new area that you were supposed to be done. And I will want to make mention, like Kevin said, that the Public Service Union has supported the minister's stance on this, which is really interesting because although there have been support, there are a lot of persons in the government that are not big fans of this halt of transfers, because people often look at transfers as a way to get out of maybe a toxic environment from where they were in that area and so forth. They were looking to transfer because the transfer was going to be moving them closer to family, to friends, to whatever it is. And they've planned already for this, and they understand that this is a new shift and change that might be welcomed by others as compared to others.
Definitely. So I hear the minister when it comes to what prompted them to halt transfers, which is it's a cost-saving measure. He was like, geopolitical situation at the moment says we need to save money somewhere. PSU supports this. The minister also apologized, as you mentioned, to the persons that were looking forward to getting transferred. It's unfortunate that we're in that situation where this is taking place. For two reasons that also came up in the conversation, which is how transfers have been used as a way to give gratifications to people that
or
have
punish persons.
Or punish people that have either gone through with the system or have been against the system. That's one. But I also know about public servants that have done their due diligence to go through all this professional development, which sets them up for a transfer, right? So what about these persons that have invested time and effort into it? I hear when he says we apologize because I know you were looking forward to it, but at the same time, I feel like you've done work for it, right? And again, it's unfortunate that we are in the situation where it needs to be on hold. But the next thing is that as psychologists have said, part of your professional development is that you need to be moving from space to space.
Yeah, you need different
you're
areas to
productive,
learn, be productive.
optimal, to ensure that you are able to branch out on different skills and all of these things. So how is that going to be done now? But for now, no transfers are going to take place this year, which it's a tough.
It's a tough cookie for many to grasp. I do mention that the minister did say that the case-by-case transfers are something that still are taking place. So if Kevin looks and Kevin really wants to go to XYZ place, they're going to be able to look at that case and see if that is, applicable, if it could make sense to be able to do. So they are doing case by case, but the big transfers are not taking place this year. And I loved Eduardo's comment because that was the thing that I was gonna say, just a little nugget to be looking at. Thank you so much for that. He's like,
You're following.
this transfer thing doesn't add up. This begs the question, is GOB having financial difficulty? Well, darling, if they want to save money, what do you think? And going to that extent of saying, we're going to halt transfers. If you notice too as well, they did not do the premise for the bus association by allowing for them to not to give them an exemption when it comes to the taxes or whatever it is. They allow them to raise the prices. So like all things that they won't have a real cost with. I'm just saying.
Great observations.
I'm just saying the movements don't seem that there's money flowing and schmoing the way it used to be flowing. So something's afoot. When you look at things, and I just want to just put a little thought in there. There are things the government has to pay, and sometimes things that, come to forefront, like the bond payments and these different interests and so forth that are afoot. And if you look and track back to years and look at the deficits and everything, certain things are due. And when things are due, payments need to be made. And if money not there, we got to find money in other places and cut corners to find money to make payments.
Well, and it's unfortunate that who gets that nasty end of the stick, right? Which is, like the persons at the bottom of the barrel, which is like us, like it's just like, because there is no like argument in saying how will like salaries be adjusted for these persons at the top tier of the government, like ministers, CEOs, all of these things, right? No discussion around that to be able to accommodate these very important cost-saving measures that need to be taken by the government.
And they need to look at all the ghost workers in the government and
check the allowances that all these people are going, right? Because that's an argument that it says because of the large amount of allowances that need to be accommodated for transfers, then it's something that we need to look into. But what about the allowances for CEOs, allowances for ministers,
Because again, if you go and check, guys, stuff like Blue Bond and these different things, payments are needed to be made. Back at the information. I'm putting information out there and letting you do your own research for investments and things that have been made that now are coming to be paid.
Right, so we move on to our last Couch Talk topic quickly because we do have a packed show today. And our last Couch Talk topic is that the Central Bank of Belize was not involved in the bank's decision to switch from savings account to checkings account.
This was a very interesting thing because you would think that the central bank have certain powers over banks, or they should at least be involved in a consultation process, right? Where I'm going to be like, Mr. Governor, sir, I'm going to be doing X, Y, and Z, but...
And it's a big decision.
And we all get a message where we just like, guys, we change the thing over from...
savings
to checkings, and then this cost will be, incurred from it. And of course, the idea of an interest that normally is paid, it's a minimal interest, but an interest nevertheless. Money not money. Listen to me. Leave it to a big money than money. And I'm more money than I may have before. And I welcome the money while I never had none at all. So just the idea of all of that. And this has been something that has been done. And a lot of people are asking, like, how did this take place? And again, the governor for Central Bank has made mention and said, they were not consulted with this process. It was just done. And as you can see that, they are just rolling with the punches. But I found that very interesting to see where it's kind of like you're an observer in what's taking place in the banking sector, when I feel like you are supposed to, or the central bank specifically is supposed to be playing a role of like, I'm trying to find the exact word. They're supposed to be playing a role of managing how it's supposed to take place. You're playing that role of making sure that things are running, the checks and balances are running the way it's supposed to be running with these banks. If things are just let to slide, then it begs the question what all banks can be able to do, and you sit back and just leave it as it is.
That is true. Because like what comes with this change in the savings to checkings is that users of the banks now have to pay a monthly maintenance fee for the different services that they acquire from the bank, right? So like two things that came out from this conversation with the governor of the central bank. One is like, where's consumer protection, right? And so like, where are like, for instance, the different associations that have to deal with consumers and like customers and customer protection? Because if you look at how the modality is going, is that it clearly like disenfranchises some population, right? People that are not tech savvy, that do not have the necessary gadgets to be able to do like these online transfers and this online banking, or do not have the literacy level to be able to do this. It's like they have to come into the bank every now and then, and that also like costs a fee to be able to come into the bank now every now and then and do these processes. But how are they now getting involved in having this awareness of like my money? Like, how do I manage my money? How is this looking at? You know, like, where is the proper consultation or education happening from these two banks in particular to be able to say, consumers, customers, we see you. This is the change that's taking place. You know, people did get an email, as far as I know, about this change, but
So Atlantic
does your
Bank-
granny
by
have
the
an
way,
email?
This is the thing, right? Like
Did your granny read the email?
And then this is the thing, poor granny must have never even studied an email. Get nobody to come on my phone. But you know what I will say, and this is the stickler in this whole situation, and I know, you know, often at times we forget the aspect that times are moving and changing and evolving. But we also have to look at the persons that can't really evolve as quickly as others, and we look at the elderly in that aspect of what can they be able to manage when it comes to these different things. And the big question is, how do you bring them to time or allow them to have the small convenience of what they're used to, which is coming in to get the teller, tell me exactly how much the money come in, I pay this lead bill or whatever it is, because they don't know how to deal with the phones. They don't know how to deal with the bank. I love online banking. That's my favorite thing ever because it's easy to just bop. But a normal elderly person might not be able, or not even have the correct phone. Because you know some of their think phones where it's freezing on you and you can't be able to do this thing, or your double transfer or whatever it is. Because I've seen it before. I've helped persons before with it. These are all the big questions that come around with these changes.
I know like the elderly folks could potentially is like a disenfranchised population. Well, we do know like the literacy level in Belize is like very low also, right? So you don't have to be an elderly person to not be able to understand what does this change mean. And definitely it calls again for the, I guess, the lack of, you know, just this relationship with your consumers coming from these banks and not doing the proper process of educating persons. What does it mean?
Yeah.
You know, what does it mean? And I feel like, again, going back to like, how do we grow up at knowing like, oh, the bank just did there, put your money there, savings. Now we know there's credit union and how that works. But for most people, it was just, my money's there and it's safe, right? But now with all these different measures that are taking place, there requires a bit more conversation and education to know like, what does banking, you know, better financial literacy.
How do you understand it better?
To be able to understand the dynamics.
I will want to say, when it comes to, again, the banking fees that we were saying, the checking account charges that were changed, the current powers of the central bank is basically they can regulate interest rates. So they can regulate how high the interest rates or low the interest rate can go, but they're not fully in control of the banking fees. So again, the fee that they're charging now, because it is a checking account, and not a saving account, they cannot regulate that. But the issue that is bigger in this situation is the raising of the fees, or the rising fees, which is coming with the rising cost of living, obviously, because now the more money I have, or whatever the different charges that are being take place, and the low returns on savings that persons are not able to have. So I will want to make mention on that. They can only regulate the interest rates, and they're not able to control any of the banking fees that are being given to persons. And that's a whole next ballgame, because when I get into the card charges and all that kind of
Yeah. So folks, with that, we come to the end of our couch talk. We want to say thank you so much for your contribution and your perspective that you shared with the different topics that we've mentioned. We had 4 topics, and clearly...
But there were juicy topics, like specifically for the
them.
banks and these things. I could go on with that, but of course time is running out, and we have
That is true.
beautiful segments to be able to dive into, so you can get all these different great information.
That is true. We also have birthday shout-outs to
yes,
do.
we have birthday shout-outs.
I appreciate the throwback about when there was Batty Bus and they used to give you juice and sandwich on the bus.
Oh my gosh!
How long ago was that? I have no idea, but definitely, if you got to experience that, how long?
Must be nice.
It must have been nice.
Must be nice. Good for you.
Right, so we're saying do your birthday shout
Yes, I have my 2 birthday shout-outs to do. I'm just going to wait to see which picture they put up first, or if it's a video they put up or whatever. These are belated birthday shout-outs, but guys, nevertheless, and this is for Miss Shirley Andrews. Miss Shirley loves Sunup on 7, and she's such an amazing baker, and everything in one. So happy blessed birthday. Happy belated birthday, Miss Shirley. Yesterday was her birthday. May this new chapter be filled with all the wonders of goodness and giving people reality checks and making sure that you are standing tall on business. We thank you so much for your viewership, and we pray that God continues to use you in this new chapter so beautifully. Happy blessed birthday, Miss Shirley.
Happy birthday.
And last but not least, let's put up. Hopefully the video gets in. I did it with no
video.
It was a little video, yeah. It was a cute little video I put up there.
So while this video like cues in,
To
there
my
you go.
next dad, Mr. Cod, happy blessed birthday. His birthday was Monday, but because everything was happening, I wasn't able to do a proper birthday shout out. But screaming happy blessed birthday as you navigate this new chapter filled with all of the goodness of being Mr. Always know what happened on the block. Mr. Always have some kind of fishing story where, you know, they catch fish, but they may catch fish. Happy blessed birthday, Mr. Cod. I love and appreciate you dearly. Thank you for all that you do for our family.
Yeah, I just want to do a quick shout out to my friend Cass at Tide in PG for sending me some cool socks.
Okay.
She was like, I'm sending you a pair of socks for your statement pieces.
Okay,
so
look
Cass,
at
I want to
that.
say thank you so much for my socks.
You have to lift your leg properly, Papa.
to lift my leg
You do it right or you not do it at all.
See, there you go. It's has anchors and stuff. It's
Okay.
a sea star and everything. It's very cute.
Kevin
But
is
Cass, thank
anchored.
you so much for sending it.
You know you should smile. You know how these people stand. I don't know
Yes,
why
it's
you
going to
act
be in
like
the archives, but definitely, Cass and everyone at Tide, thank you so much for the love, and we wish you a fantastic, fantastic Wednesday. So, as we wrap up our couch talk and go into commercial break, we're going to give you a sunrise.
A beautiful sunrise.
Beautiful, beautiful sunrise.
And this is...
See where it's from.
This. Hey, the way of Buttonwood, woody wood. So may this ray of all the goodness in the sunrise warm up your day, not too warm because you know it's already warm, but may you carry that brightness in your day. And we're gonna go to our first commercial break. When we're back, we dive into exciting conversations, guys. Stay tuned.
Yes.
In Belize, some things aren't explained. They're passed down. Not because they're tradition, but because they've proven they work. When you work hard for what you have, you learn to protect it. And when the time comes, you pass that responsibility forward. Every generation faces new beginnings, but the choices that matter most are built on trust. For decades, Belizean families have relied on one place to protect their homes, their vehicles, and the lives they're building. When trust is passed down, you know it's been earned. For Belizean families, that trust has a name. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
Welcome to the V Department Store. We are conveniently located on Coney Drive in Belize City. That's right on Coney Drive in Belize City. At the V Department Store, we offer a wide variety of groceries, cosmetics, kitchen appliances, kitchenware, electronics, and more. We've also recently expanded to the second floor to better meet your household and office furniture needs. We now have a wide variety of furniture, home decor, and accessories. We have a shared vision for a comfortable and customer-friendly shopping experience. Visit us today and be warmly greeted by our reasonable prices and cordial staff. The V Department Store. Experience the ultimate shopping destination.
Electricity is essential for everyday life, but behind every outlet, A lot is happening to bring you safe, reliable, and sustainable energy. Let's start at the beginning. Independent power producers across Belize generate electricity using a mix of renewable and non-renewable resources. Electricity travels across a network of high-voltage transmission lines capable of transmitting electricity across long distances. Electricity then reaches your nearest substation, where it is adjusted to a lower voltage, making it safe to travel on the distribution lines you see in your community. From there, electricity makes its final journey from the distribution lines to your home, providing you with safe and reliable power when you need it. Belize Electricity Limited. We continue to serve you.
These charter mints aren't
We're navigating along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Sherry
Culsel, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craft.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sunup on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your Nation Station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
In Belize, some things aren't explained. They're passed down. Not because they're tradition, but because they've proven they work. When you work hard for what you have, you learn to protect it. And when the time comes, you pass that responsibility forward. Every generation faces new beginnings, but the choices that matter most are built on trust. For decades, Belizean families have relied on one place to protect their homes, their vehicles, and the lives they're building. When trust is passed down, you know it's been earned. For Belizean families, that trust has a name: RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
Good morning, beautiful Sunup on 7 family. Welcome back to your Wednesday episode. Thank you so much for welcoming Renata into your space and our guests that come to today's episode. If you miss any of our conversations, such a shame on you. But if you do, please go back and watch our Facebook recorded live to stay tuned with our guests and what conversations they bring forward to the show. We move on to our first exciting conversation because there's a book week. And if you're a book lover like me, this definitely will call your attention. And today we're going to be talking about the Belize Book Sector Network, what their mission is and what can you expect on this book week. Joining us on our couch, we have the president and vice president of the Belize Book Sector Network. Wow, una trabalenguas. Feline Cayetano and Miss Montserrat Casademo joining us today. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's always good to have you on the show, Feline.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It has been.
But you've been doing good things. That's
Definitely.
why. Normally you just do good things and then you come back and report on some of the good things for us.
Yes, lots more good things in store this year.
We look
You know,
forward to
it's
that.
the 90th anniversary of the library service.
Really?
90th anniversary.
gosh.
So from December, the first week of December, even this Friday, we are celebrating anniversaries at different libraries.
I like
San
that.
Esteban Library. You know, I'll stop here. Monse?
Monse, how are you doing today? What's your energy level from 1 to 10?
Oh, it's
today?
good. It's 9, let's say.
I love it. I love
Okay, on
it.
a Wednesday?
It's early. It's early.
Yes, we're supposed to be on a good height, right?
Ask me at 5 o'clock in the evening.
This is gonna be different, but you know, around 5 o'clock, they're still gonna be having what's the festivities
Yes,
we're gonna be
tonight,
talking
tonight
about
it will be
today?
We're going to be
So
busy
we-
today and tomorrow.
So today and tomorrow are the 2 days. So people, for those that are listening under our rocker, so for mark your calendars, because today and tomorrow are the 2 days that the House of Culture is going to be booming with amazing life. Talk to us a little bit about that, Feline, on what can people expect? What is really taking place?
There's a lot. These days are full from 9 a.m. to about 6 p.m. Today, we have the book fair. Then from 6 p.m. to 9:30, from 6 p.m. to 9 tonight, we have a night market. Then tomorrow, 9 a.m. again, the book fair starts. We close tomorrow around 5. Then from 7 until 9:30 is when we'll be at the Mexican Institute in the evening for the literary evening. So these are a way for us to get not only the children to be excited about literacy and literature, but also the adults. Because adults, you know, we're working. So some people are able to pop in and pop out for the different panel discussions that we'll have, for the Meet the Author sessions. They'll meet, you know, especially for the children. We try to ensure that the children are catered to during the daytime, their events. And so in the evening, for example, I have this right here. A recent
That's
book by a
cute.
recent author. I was able to attend the launch from Miss Kyla Gentle. She's one of the authors in the Meet the Author session. Her poetry collection, she'll read some of her poems this evening, targeted to the adult audience. You know, in the daytime, we have, again, these children's books, and in the nighttime, here we'll have open mic, we'll have jazz tomorrow. In the evening, we'll have the Maroons, so Creole drumming. You all know, you know, Wilfred Felix will also be one of the featured authors, along with 3 other authors, Belizean authors, and 1 Mexican author. So we, you know, as you know, you all know, have you been with us from the beginning, from 2008, 2009, following the journey? No?
Which journey?
Which journey? Like, all
right, Monse, let's have Monse talk about the journey.
Well, it was in 2008 when BBIA was registered. No? It was initially the Belize Book Industry Association. And we rebranded it now to Belize Book Sector Network, just very, very recently.
Yeah, what's the mission of this organization?
It is to promote the book industry, and the book industry is not only the books that we see, it's everything that happens before a book is published, which is the most important part.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are not very clear on that. So, you know, from the author writing the story to the editor that edits the story and the proofreader and the designer and the illustrator and the, and eventually the printer, the publisher that put it all together, the printing, the distribution, the promotion. So it's a long, long chain. So if we work all together, and we are able to communicate. And really the aim is to promote Belizean writers, Belizean publishing. And we have been trying to do that for 18 years.
Wow, thank you so much for putting 18 years of effort into this mission. It's very, very important.
Yes.
Yeah. How does this book week align with the vision that you have within the Belize Book Sector Network?
Well, in this occasion, we have many panels, and the panel discussions will bring the discussion to a different level. And we have a very important panel starting 10 o'clock today about book policy, mostly. So, because we've been crying for a book policy since the very beginning. No? And UNESCO has a very good publication on guidelines on how countries can establish national book policies. So we are going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But the ultimate question is, do we need books? Do we want books?
Do we need books? Do we want books? What do you think?
Are books important?
I would say
100%.
100% yes.
Yes.
Yeah, 100% yes.
But I really like the idea of a book policy. Like, that's something I didn't even fathom to think about in the first place. So the conversation on that specific is going to be talking about what that would look like, or what would that conversation be about?
We have very, very interesting panelists. And we started with UNICEF talking about Mix 7.
Ah, nice, okay.
Yeah. And then we have UNESCO talking about book policy. And then we have Belpre represented as well.
They've been doing some really great research.
Yes, exactly. So all these people, you know, Dylan and Araine Palacio and Joshua from UNICEF. And then we have the second part. This first part is about policy, and the second part is about experiences on the field from BNTU, from the Library Association, and finally the Take Time for Read from Belmopan, that they are giving away thousands of books for free throughout the country. And they have been doing that. It's young people, I think under 30.
Wow.
So they will be there and talking about their experience, about the experience of children actually having access to books for free. And are they interested? Are they not interested? It seems that they are interested. It will be interesting to see.
It's a very interesting dynamic, you know, given that we are in a space of technology and we can see like so many kids, you know, either using the technology appropriately rather than just going on YouTube, even though YouTube is still a learning platform. But it's interesting we're navigating like physical books or even like books, what it mean in general, how do we integrate technology into it. But I love that you're starting with data and you're saying we're going to have a conversation starting with UNICEF on the Mix survey, which was like shared alarming data as regards to like the literacy level of the country. Yeah. So like having this awareness, Feline, about where we are in terms of like literacy, where we are in terms of like how do we see books. At the end of these 2 days that people are going to be engaging on, how do you want them to walk away from engaging in these two activities in these 2 days?
That's a heavy one. That is a heavy one. Really and truly, it comes down to people being excited about the reading for themselves personally and being alarmed and ready for action in terms of doing their part to ensure that we raise the literacy level for the country. You know, that all people understand that literacy, comprehension, numeracy also, there were some alarming facts in that document about numeracy, you know, that these things become everybody's priority. And it is not that difficult of a challenge for us to do it if we prioritize it. That's really what I want people to walk away from, excited about reading and ready to move us all forward.
You know, like yesterday I was having a conversation with a friend where I'm really grateful to be coming from a family that loves to read. You know, like my mom, my sister, and I, we exchanged books with each other. Every time I traveled to the airport, I would pick up a book from my mom. Her favorite author is Danielle Steele, right? So every time Danielle Steele has a new publication, I would patch to the airport and pick it up for her. But like, how many people like have this interaction where a book is a part of your culture?
Yes.
Right? So like, how do we get people to get more involved in holding books, in reading, and getting involved in this? I'm very curious about that.
Well, that's what libraries are for. That's what the book fair is all about. We have multiple stakeholders all in one building, right? And at the House of Culture, in this case. But really and truly, I was looking at you know, I don't know about you all, but when I'm about to give a speech, I look at past speeches to make sure I don't duplicate it.
Yeah.
So in 2017, we were in Punta Gorda. And my speech at that time was about how ideally, at some point, since we can only be in 1 or 2 places each book week, in terms of, you know, the book fair itself, ideally, local groups would be established that would have book fairs there, you know, every year. You know, every community should have a book fair where all of the stakeholders come in. In the case of the libraries, especially since COVID, we have made it a priority and put it on our calendar for across the country that there would be copyright. You know, again, World Book and Copyright Day is tomorrow, and that's how the book fair came into being as well, aside from it being, let's say, when the textbook, once we'll get into that, but the formation of the Belize Book Industry Association, where the Belize Book Sector Network came from. You know, part of it had to do with the fact that more authors and copyright and, those things, the foundation of what writing is and law and, some structures, legislation, that those things had to be in place and some type of organization for the book sector, right? And so then tomorrow we will definitely do some copyright, AI, and those types of presentations and focus on that across the country, across the library system. So that is something that we're excited about too. Which is why we call it Book Week, right? So not only at the book fair, but across the country. But we want to do more across the country when it comes to these book fairs.
So for persons that are listening right now and for some reason maybe they can't be making today and tomorrow, is there any way that they can connect with you guys and to be able to see how they can be a part of the conversation, be connected to a library, or something along that way to bring back the idea of making reading fun, making reading something that everybody should understand is so necessary to your well-being and your development?
Well, the libraries, and also online on our Facebook page from which we branch off, and you'll see who is connected to us, who we're connected with. So this is the Facebook Belize Book Sector Network.
And the web page as well.
Yes, the web page.
Thank is important because everything is there.
I'm going to put that in the chat for persons out there. As we're wrapping up, is there any final remarks you want to make sure that the public is aware of, anything that we forgot to mention?
Yeah, Monsa, please extend a great invitation for people to show up today and tomorrow to the different...
I think it's to give children more opportunities for reading. And this has to be in school as well. Because there was a program of Drop Everything and Read, I think, some time ago. And now I don't think it's there anymore, right?
Yeah. If you could share some practical tips, how can we get children more engaged in reading?
At home.
At home.
But also to have books available that are affordable. And there are books that are affordable, because I go places and I see, all these books that cost maybe $4 or $5, no? So it's also about priorities, I think. So to get parents and children interested in reading, that's not difficult for a child. I think if you give them a book from the time that they are very young, they will really pick it up and enjoy it.
That is true.
So availability of books and having more than 3 books at home, that's what they say they have now.
I like that. Feline, any last words from you?
Definitely foster a culture of reading in your own home, as Monse stated, and in the community. Like you said, you share books. I mean, we were just passing the street there, how many months ago, and I was like, what are you reading? And you're like, girl, what are you reading?
Exactly.
And so then, boom. Because readers are leaders.
That is true. And also, kids mirror what they see with their parents, right? If you sit there next to with your phone, the kid's gonna sit there and be like, with my phone too, because they realize it's normal. But if you sit there with a book, the child might be like, let me just mirror what my parent or my brother or somebody's doing too. So kids mirror what they see from their adults.
That's correct.
That's correct. All right, Ren.
Well, with that, guys, we're going to thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. I've put the Facebook page in the chat for persons that want to be able to connect with network and be able to connect with libraries. But again, reminding you today and tomorrow at the House of Culture, you can come out from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. There's also going to be a book market taking place too. There's going to be music. There's going to be so much great conversations taking place throughout the day. They can be, of course, we're going to be posting the flyers that you saw just now for you guys to see. But thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you, ladies. All the best
looking
with your
forward to
event.
an exciting and amazing book fair day today and tomorrow.
Yes.
Thank you.
And with that, we're going to go to our next commercial break, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
In Belize, some things aren't explained. They're passed down. Not because they're tradition, but because they've proven they work. When you work hard for what you have, you learn to protect it. And when the time comes, you pass that responsibility forward. Every generation faces new beginnings, but the choices that matter most are built on trust. For decades, Belizean families have relied on one place to protect their homes, their vehicles, and the lives they're building. When trust is passed down, you know it's been earned. For Belizean families, that trust has a name. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
Welcome to the V Department Store. We are conveniently located on Coney Drive in Belize City. That's right on Coney Drive in Belize City. At the V Department Store, we offer a wide variety of groceries, cosmetics, kitchen appliances, kitchenware, electronics, and more. We've also recently expanded to the second floor to better meet your household and office furniture needs. We now have a wide variety of furniture, home decor, and accessories. We have a shared vision for a comfortable and customer-friendly shopping experience. Visit us today and be warmly greeted by our reasonable prices and cordial staff. The V Department Store. Experience the ultimate shopping destination.
Electricity is essential for everyday life, but behind every outlet, a lot is happening to bring you safe, reliable, and sustainable energy. Let's start at the beginning. Independent power producers across Belize generate electricity using a mix of renewable and non-renewable resources. Electricity travels across a network of high-voltage transmission lines capable of transmitting electricity across long distances. Electricity then reaches your nearest substation, where it is adjusted to a lower voltage, making it safe to travel on the distribution lines you see in your community. From there, electricity makes its final journey from the distribution lines to your home, providing you with safe and reliable power when you need it. Belize Electricity Limited. We continue to serve you.
These charter mints aren't from
We're
an
navigating
airplane.
along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Cherie Halsell, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sunup on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your Nation Station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Muy buenos dias, beautiful Sunup on 7 family. Welcome back to your Wednesday episode. We have exciting news for you because there's a coming free dental and medical clinic that is being hosted by the Monarchy Consulting Group and the Belize Medical and Dental Association. So you're going to find out all those details about when it is and what services will be available. And of course, celebrate our Belizean medical professionals in this space. Joining us on our couch to give us those details, we're joined by Ms. Charlotte Bedson, the Monarchy Consulting Group founding member. Ms. Charlotte, good morning.
Good morning.
How is your energy level today from 1 to 10?
Awesome, awesome. I would say I'm a 10.
You're a 10.
I'm excited to be here.
We're happy to have you.
Yes, and this is actually very personal for my sisters and I.
Okay.
Our parents are actually from Belize. So we've actually come back years in and year out. And so we were actually invited to come and do this health fair by a town called Freedom. So it would actually take place this Friday and Saturday. Friday from 9 to 3, and Saturday we're just going to slightly end a little earlier because there are other festivities that are going on in the evening.
I love it. So let's take a pin there before I can see you're definitely excited about these 2 days that are upcoming. Let me introduce who's with you on today's couch. We have Dr. Maria Gonsalves joining us and representing the Belize Medical and Dental Association. How do you feel, Dr. Maria? What's your energy level today?
My God, I feel about 20.
I love it.
I've never heard of 20 before.
You're the first one with the 20
for me, for our old lady, but to hear from me is very exciting. It's very engaging to have an outreach clinic with my friend here from US.
I love it.
Yeah.
We from Belize Medical and Dental Association. Actually, I'm the secretary of the BMDA Cayo District.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and like we shared, this is a clinic that's being it's all Belizean healthcare providers that are going to be participating in this event, which is very, very important to like highlight.
Yes, that is very important because we used to see only outside doctors doing something. Last year, we did several ones in Punta Gorda, Orange Walk, with under leadership Dr. Perlita Aldana. She left, now is Dr. Iakabi. We continue doing the same thing with the strength Miss Betson here, and the Monarchy Group is helping us to putting together that group and bring the medicine and consultation and for the people who most need it.
I love this.
Yeah.
And I think it's really an important conversation. When we think about health, it's the wealth of a country. When you can be able to have healthy citizens to know what they're going on and experiencing with their body. So I'm really glad to see us be able to have this. I know it's 2 days. And you were mentioning just before, Ms. Betson, you know, this is going to be taking place on the 24th and the 25th, which is a Friday and a Saturday of this week.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about what can people expect, because health has like so much different things that it can be able to fall underneath. So what are the specific areas that you guys are looking at for persons to be able to access?
I can start in it's Dr. Maria's area.
Yes, you guys can jump and just like piggyback on each other.
Yeah, so in actuality, there will be a number of physicians from Belize here, and they'll actually be doing screening for a whole host of things like high blood pressure and things like that, and pap smears for the females that actually come out. We also have a few dentists that'll be coming, and they'll be doing health cleaning. So that's some of the things. And we are actually doing this because we know that there is a true need. Medical access for some is, you know, they may not have the access that they actually need. So this is just a beginning for us, but we're excited about it to just get back to the community.
100%. And when you talk about these different access, are you looking at a specific age range, population in Belize? Is it everyone you'd want to come out? Talk to me about that, Dr. Maria.
Everyone. We encourage mothers bring their children and to have the dental evaluation, because one thing we see here, the children does not have the proper dental care as needed, and then 2 doctors will be there with us, 2 dentists, Dr. Johnson, Dr. Azul, will be there to render this kind of service. Also, for the mothers, we're going to have a screening for a pap smear, also for diabetes, hypertension. We're giving some kind of orientation, medical education. we're going to do hemoglobin A1C, what is telling you about your diabetes for the last previous 3 months. Okay, sometimes you cannot assess that, or you don't know you are diabetic. If you go there, you have a problem with your blood sugar level, immediately that's what we're doing there. Okay, it's a lot of screening, prevention, medicine is the best. Okay, that's the first one BMDA doing with the Monarchy Group. They sponsor us, BMDA last year conference. This year they will sponsor us again, ¿verdad, Ms. Letson? Yes,
I love it.
Okay, and for the BMDA, doctors here in Belize, we like to do things, but it's not so many of us. It's not everybody's available. I am in the retirement plan. I have a time to go and come back. Right now in my clinic, I have NHI. I am from Blackman Eddy, by the way.
Okay.
I got Blackman Eddy.
Blackman Eddy, yes, from Blackman Eddy, we have NHI there. Our basic things is to book prevention. That's what we aiming for. We're going to have some material there for education and respecting the mothers and also the fathers to come in and see you, get some medical devices, so many needed. Okay.
Wow. So we definitely have to thank you and the team of the Belize Medical and Dental Association that are coming out to provide these services, right? It's really good to be able to see our Belizean doctors out there, familiarize ourselves with our faces and just be conscious that we have great professionals out there that are willing to be looking forward to our community's well-being. So that is so beautiful to hear. Can you give us some details as to where will this medical and dental clinic take place?
It's going to take place at the Marion Jones Stadium.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I said, on Friday and Saturday. Friday from 9 to 3. Saturday, starting at 9, but we will be ending a little earlier due to the festivities that'll be going on, the concert in the evening with Terrace Marley and Skip Marley. And so that's where it's actually going to take place. And along with that, we will have lunch for the first 150 that attend. On Friday, we're actually going to have a bouncy house, and I believe it's like a slushy machine and things like that for the kids that actually come out.
Okay.
So we're really looking forward to it.
And I like the fact that we're catering to kids because, of course, that allows a mother to know, I'm going to bring my child, they're going to have something to do, they're going to get a health check. It's all in one, and it's going to give them that holistic feel of I'm getting everything without having to worry about a screaming child that's really tired of being in one place for too long.
Yes.
Is there a thing where someone has to bring maybe a social security card or so? What would you have to bring with you if you maybe have any past medical issues or so? Do you bring that? How does that look when it comes to coming in to the doctor?
Yes, if you have anything, what it can give us better guidelines for you, that's a plus. Okay, your documentation, we're doing pap smear. The pap smear takes some days for you to get. We're going to handle our telephone number, but also I need a phone number and an address for me to give it back that results for you. Anything happen, I would okay, coming here, we have to assess you again, and we need something what I can locate you. If you 100%. Have a telephone number and social security, that's a plus.
Very well.
That's we encourage. And also, if you have some previous pap smear you have it before and you know the results, just show us. That's a plus. That's help us a lot.
Yeah. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We already have data to work off of that.
Yes.
So is there anything that you would really want the public to note, when we're talking about this Friday, this Saturday, give us that last push, that last welcome to remind persons why they really need to take time to come, to be able to be assessed, to bring their children, to bring their family members, men importantly too, because we find that a lot of time men are not being able to take care of themselves and are not getting their checks. It's the woman often that's bringing the child and she's coming. But give that last push to remind persons why this Friday and Saturday is so necessary.
I believe it's so necessary because, one, we're inviting the community to come out and it's at no cost. And oftentimes this doesn't happen. And early detection is key, and that's very important. So taking out the time to nurture yourself is very important. A lot of times we take care of everyone else, but don't take care of our own health. So we're just encouraging you, the community, come out. My sisters and I, Monica and Karen, and I'm Charlotte, we're giving back to our Belizean community. Our roots are here. Our parents were born here, and we've actually been raised with the Belizean culture. So we're excited to be here. This will be our first health clinic, and we're really grateful and much gratitude to Dr. Gonzalez and the Belize physicians that we have here and the Dental Association that's coming out. And I also want to recognize C&J Auto, Mr. Justin. He's been amazing and a very ally for our family. So I would encourage people to come out to C&J's Auto too. He'll be able to take care of them. He does car rental, he does car washes and things like that. Very important member of the community, and I respect him a lot.
Awesome. And thank you for your family also for doing this. Dr. Maria, is there any final words you want to give? Any push?
Yes, and thank you. And first of all, I'd like to say thanks to Minister of Health, Ms. Heredia do Central Region. She's the manager, has been very key with Nurse Velasquez, Dr. Beer. She has been help us. For the public, it's very important. Please come with us to do your pap smear because the cancer is in the rising, and you don't need to do that. We have detected early and bring your children, have dental evaluation, have your pap smear done, push your husband alone. I was told Miss Monica, some prices will be there, including the ticket for go to the show, okay? Because I like to dance. I come in the Saturday night. I love it to be there. I like to see some of the patients because there you be a raffle for some raffle for
there'll be a raffle for a few tickets for giveaway for the concert.
All right.
See, all that in one. Right at Marion Jones this Friday and Saturday. Come out. Bring your past medical information that's going to really help and provide a better perspective for the doctors that are going to be there. There's going to be doing free dental, a range of different things. Is there a flyer or maybe like an email or somewhere that people can ask for more information if they want to get information?
Yes, we do have a flyer. We can make sure we extend it to you.
For that. And then is there like a Facebook page people can follow for more updates? Maybe.
Well, we do know that there is some information.
With the BMDA, it's in the page of the BMDA. We also, you can reach me. You can ask any question, 610-4236. You can call me and I will answer your pertinent questions, no?
Very good.
Excellent.
So follow the Belize Medical and Dental Association Facebook page to know more details about what services are going to be provided this weekend at the free dental and medical clinic at the Marion Jones Sporting Complex.
Belizean doctors.
Belizean doctors, let's emphasize on that. Thank you for that, Dr. Maria. So with that, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. Obrigado.
Obrigado, muito obrigado.
And we're going to go into our next commercial break. When we're back, we have more exciting conversations waiting for you on Sunup on 7. Stay tuned.
These charter mints aren't
We're navigating along the coast.
This morning, the 2023
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Sheree Kelso, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm a bureaucrat.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
The roads of Belize connect us all. Riders, drivers, families, friends. Every day begins with a little routine and the confidence that life's journeys are protected. From school drop-off through the daily grind and everything in between, each with different roads ahead, yet one common goal: to arrive safely. Atlantic Insurance stands with Belize's riders and motorists with affordable protection, support, and peace of mind for the journey ahead. For the roads we share and the lives we protect, Atlantic Insurance is by your side, insuring you from life's unexpected. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
Electricity is essential for everyday life, but behind every outlet, a lot is happening to bring you safe, reliable, and sustainable energy. Let's start at the beginning. Independent power producers across Belize generate electricity using a mix of renewable and non-renewable resources. Electricity travels across a network of high-voltage transmission lines capable of transmitting electricity across long distances. Electricity then reaches your nearest substation, where it is adjusted to a lower voltage, making it safe to travel on the distribution lines you see in your community. From there, electricity makes its final journey from the distribution lines to your home, providing you with safe and reliable power when you need it. Belize Electricity Limited. We continue to serve you.
Muy buenos días, beautiful Sunup on 7 family. Welcome back to your Wednesday episode. Thank you so much for welcoming Renata into your space. And our next conversation, like I said, is exciting because did you know that there is a National Tapir Day? Actually, a World Tapir Day. How lucky for our national animal to be celebrated in this way. And today we're going to find out details as to like how are we celebrating tapirs on this coming weekend. And joining us on our couch to give us those details, we're joined by Dr. Salsoput. Dr. Saitso, good morning.
Good morning,
The
Kevin.
godfather of tapirs. How do you feel about celebrating World Tapir Day?
Well, the Belize Zoo has always been celebrating Tapir Day. I mean, starting back from 1983 when the zoo started, we had April birthday. And April birthday was in April. So when the IUCN Tapir Specialist Group declared April 27th World Tapir Day, we were doing it already in April as well. Yeah, so we just adapted to National Tapir Day in Belize, and it coincides with World Tapir Day, which is April 27th.
Yeah, I feel like we prompted that, wouldn't you say so?
I believe so, definitely.
We had a hand in it. We had
yeah, definitely we had a hand in it. April was the godmother for World Tapir Day.
I strongly believe so too.
I loved it.
With you, Dr. Salso, we're joined by Noelle Chabla, your education officer at the Belize Zoo. Noelle, good morning.
Good morning.
How is your energy level today from 1 to 10?
Very good. It's Earth Day.
It's Earth Day.
Oh, happy Earth Day to everyone.
Oh man, there's a lot of days happening. I'm trying to keep up right now. So it's Earth Day today.
April 22nd is Earth Day.
And then the 27th is Tapir.
World Tapir Day.
World Tapir Day. Yeah. It's like big. I'm just thinking about Gracie.
They go
and all
together because tapirs are very important for the earth.
Yes, and so
Right.
I would love to
How
have
so?
us
Yeah.
talk about the importance of tapirs so people could understand the context of Belize and see like why this ties in so perfectly with us.
So tapirs are considered the largest land mammal, wildlife-wise, in the neotropics. They can get up to 600 pounds. And what we call them is, sometimes we refer to them as ecosystem engineers. And what that means is that they help shape the forests, right? I mean, the food they eat, they can eat at different levels, so they shape the forest structure. They eat various fruits, and they transfer the seeds from one area to the next.
Okay.
They like water, so when they go into these muddy area, they create these wallows, and they help with nutrient recycling. Tapir eat a lot. They eat about between 40 and 50 pounds a day, so that's a lot of poop. A lot of poop means that you put back nutrients back into the earth. And then we call them forest gardeners, mostly because of the seeds they transfer from one area to the next, whereby some seeds, like the sapote, the sapodilla, the wild one, tapirs are one of the few animals that can transport those big seeds from one part of the forest to the next. So they're very important.
Very, very important. So in that regard, what prompted you to be like so keen about working with tapirs?
It starts from with April. So we had April for 30 years.
Oh.
And I was responsible for celebrating.
How long can a tapir live?
I just want to say they live so long.
Yeah, so we are seeing tapirs living up to 35, 40 years. But this is in captivity.
Oh, okay.
Right? In the wild, 18 to 20 years is
But that's still
what...
pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so that is what you will find. So I worked with April for more than half of her birthdays at the zoo, and then I wanted to give back to the species. And then in 2008, I began recording road collision with tapirs. And over the years, I have made tapir conservation my passion, you know, to the point where I study them in the wild now as from a scientific perspective, but also as like my brain reset to go out into the field and just be with tapirs. That's what I like to do.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I want to ask Noelle, so the tapir is our national animal, and how lucky we are to be able to, like, you know, call the tapir a national animal. So if you could give us some statistics for us to reflect on, like, what is the population of tapir looking like in Belize? And what are some of the challenges that they experience? I know, like, you're saying collisions is one of them, right? And it's very, like, we see it on the news very frequently, which is unfortunate. But how are like our tapirs doing in Belize?
It's very difficult to track the exact amount of
okay.
tapirs that exist in Belize.
Okay.
First of all, because they are awake while we are asleep.
Oh.
So they are most active at night, and they're crepuscular as well. So it's a bit difficult to track.
I like that word, crepuscular.
The exact population of tapirs in Belize.
So unlike jaguars that you can identify by their spots, like we can, once you get a jaguar on a camera trap, you can identify that animal based on the patterns. Tapirs don't have spots. All tapirs look the same. In our study site, we can know them individually, maybe by they have a little nip on the ear, or they have one unique color or something like that. But when you're studying them at a national scale, it's hard for you to identify individual tapirs. What scientists are doing now is they're using physics, the movement of particles, and phototrap rate to look at density for tapirs and then try and estimate a population. And this is just using mathematical modeling, right? Nobody they count tapirs. It's using what you get from the field in photographic trap rates, the time in between the photos, the distance between the photos, and then you have in physics the movements of particles, how they move. And then you use that and apply that, the movement that appears, and you can have an estimate as to how many tapirs might be in that area. So it's using mathematical model.
All right, okay.
Amazing. That's pretty amazing to
I like
see
that.
how all the nitty-gritty factors feed into what could possibly be the amount that we'll be having in that area.
Yeah.
But in terms of challenges, as you asked, road collision in Belize is a big one. Since I started in 2008, I have collected more than 40 tapirs off the road, right, off the highways.
Oh my gosh.
40 tapirs
And
less.
we started off like in the Burrell Boom area, then John Smith area, but it has spread across the country now. And then recently we had a screwworm-infested tapir up in Blue Creek in Orange Walk. Thankfully, we were able to rehabilitate that tapir and bring it back to good health and release it back into the Rio Bravo Conservation and Management Area. We were able to fit that tapir with a GPS collar to study movement and see how it's doing out there in the wild. And that tapir is moving. It's been more than a month since we released it, and it has moved about 18 kilometers from where we released it. So it's still exploring the forest. So that's one of the threats that they have now, screwworms in Belize. Yeah.
And of course, habitat loss is also like another big factor that is contributing.
Definitely.
Challenges that they're going through. Definitely. So the Belize is doing a great celebration on Sunday to celebrate National and World Tapir Day.
Correct.
How is that going to be
How is
looking
that gonna,
like?
we already saw the cake.
Yes.
I know what the carrots and banana.
Yes, it's carrots, bananas, sweet potatoes.
Hey, that's what interesting combination.
Don't give away the secret recipe, please.
Right.
Oh, there's a secret recipe that you're not supposed to. So, but I do see carrots,
Yes.
bananas. I saw a little watermelon too. So
Probably there's like peanut butter.
So
yeah, they like peanut butter.
not all of them.
They could eat it. That's healthy. Okay, I'm learning stuff here. I'm learning stuff here.
You know, just like us, how we have things that we like to eat, things that we don't. Tapirs also choose what.
Every
they
time I
want
see
to
them,
eat.
they're just always eating.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
So like in that regard, Noelle, so I ask you, like, how is the Belize Zoo gonna celebrate World Tapir Day? But can you share like some fun facts about tapirs that our viewers may be curious about?
Yeah, so one of my favorite things that I like to talk to the kids about, because apart from the actual celebration that we're going to have with our guests at the Belize Zoo on Sunday, we also have our outreach program that delivers lessons and activities to children in the schools nearby. So one of my favorite activities to do with them is when they learn that tapir poop is very important.
Oh.
So tapirs are seed dispersers. So like Dr. Soso said, they're able to eat fruit. And I like to ask the kids, do you think that the tapir is going to grow a tree in its tummy? They're like, no. Well, where is that seed going to end up? And when they're able to understand and, explore as to why tapirs are important and why they're called nature's gardeners. They understand the importance of tapirs living in our country and how them and, being seed dispersers, they're able to help us, get more plants. And they are able to recognize that plants give us food to eat and plants give us oxygen to breathe. Therefore, they can make that connection. So that is one of the more special things that I love to share with the children. And we have an activity with them where I do a DIY poop with a little, safe recipe
and stuff like that
with
in there?
coffee grounds and, like a little butter sort of thing. And they're able to pluck out seeds and they can make connections as to what kind of fruits as well tapirs eat in the wild. So that's like, eureka moment for the kids. Like they love that and it's very hands-on. So that's one of the more special things that I love to share.
All right. So you shared that on Sunday there's special guests coming and a celebration.
Yes.
Tell us how
So
it's
on
like.
Sunday, like we mentioned, the actual date is on the Monday, the 27th. But because, we know that people have their day offs during the weekend, last year we had our first Tapir Day cake bake-off. And it was such a hit. It was very fun. It was our first time doing it, of course, so it was the pilot of it. And we had 6 teams last year to come to the zoo, and they compete to see who makes the best tapir cake. And the best tapir cake is given to Sparks, who is the youngest male tapir in our tapir candle. So
I'm sorry, Nathan. We like to go like in these like battles on who does the best things here. Maybe we should go and make the best tapir cake. But what makes the best tapir cake?
yeah, the best tapir cake, according to the tapir keepers, because they would know best, right?
Of course, they keep the tapirs.
Yeah, is a balanced cake. Not too much greens, not too much sweet fruits, but a cake that is balanced. And of course, they eat a lot. The contestants are provided with all tapir-friendly ingredients. They don't have to take anything. Everything is provided for them.
Okay, so you just get to be creative.
Yes, so they just get to be creative.
That is so fun.
They explore all the ingredients that are provided to them, and they, use their criteria to see what they would think Sparks would love best. And the good thing is that because this year we went from 6 groups to 8, because we have 8 tapirs at the zoo.
Okay.
So the good thing is, yeah, exactly. The good thing is that the best cake goes to Sparks, but all the other cakes go to the different.
So Sparks
tapirs.
not a big judge.
Yes.
Okay, Sparks no approve, then
So Sparks have to eat it and enjoy it, the full
Yes,
thing.
exactly.
Last year, Sparks, did he have a time?
Yes, he did.
See,
He did.
so like, I'm just saying, Sparks is like, bring it on.
And the judges are the keepers themselves.
Okay.
So they would know what Sparks prefers and what the other tapir prefers, so that we can.
That Sparks really live the life that he deserves.
They all do.
Sparks is a king.
Sparks is a king. He's like, he's getting the top cake.
Yeah.
And then everybody else can be able to get like a next one too. And I love this. So, a question for persons out there that are starting to understand and learn about tapirs. Are they, from what we've seen there, any kind of way of aggressive animals? Are they peaceful animals? How are they when it comes to persons and these different things?
So like all wild animals, including Homo sapiens. If
wild.
We are though. We just tame ourselves somewhat.
if you are startled, if you are frightened, you will go in defense mode.
Of course.
Right? If you have young, if you have calves, you go in defense mode. So people can interpret that as being aggressive. Tapirs are generally shy animal. They stay away. But tapirs have been around for at least 20 million years. They haven't really changed much. And so they're also adaptable. And they can live around human disturbances, right?
Oh, okay.
And they can adapt, but sometimes not the best environment for them, right? So they're not bad, they're not aggressive, they're shy, but like all wildlife, they will defend.
Of course.
Defend
a territory, they're themselves.
If they need to, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And at some point you mentioned that there's like 4 species of tapirs, yeah?
Yeah, there are 4 species of tapirs globally.
We have one.
We only have one in Belize.
In the Americas, we have 3 species. So ours is the Central American tapir,
Okay.
Tapirus beardi. And this tapir range from southern Mexico all the way down to northern Colombia. That's ours. Then there is the mountain tapir, which you find in the Andes in South America. And then you have, some call it the lowland, some call it the Brazilian tapir, the one we have like a mane on the back. It has like a mane like horse, because tapirs are cousins to horses and rhinos, right?
Yeah.
And then in Southeast Asia, you have the Malayan tapir, that are the one will look like Oreo. You got white the middle, and then you got the big black the back, right? That are the biggest one. So that's the Malayan tapir. So 4 species of tapirs.
Exciting, right?
Yeah. Before we leave, though, I have to mention that what we're doing also is we're launching our roadkill app.
Okay.
So a citizen science project where anyone traveling the highway and you see a wildlife roadkill, you can use the app to record it. It's a progressive web app, so you don't have to go any store and download it. You can pin it. Yep, we're showing it. And all you need to do is it works on both iPhone and on Android. Take the photo and submit it. It will force you to give the location. So you have other parameters you can enter voluntarily if you want, but if you have limited time, take the photo of the roadkill. Don't try to move the animal. Don't try to save it. Don't try to take it with you. Make sure when you pull off of the road, you're safe as well. Take a photo and submit that. Then that'll give us the GPS location of where that roadkill happened. And then we will do the back end work and eventually use AI to help us build models and see what are some of the factors influencing roadkills in these areas. So we were lucky to have partnered with Belize Digital Media Group and the Houston Zoo. And so we are now launching this app. And it's like I said, it's free. It's a citizen science project. So everyone who see roadkill,
just take the picture.
You can take the photo and submit it to us.
I like that.
And that will help us, as you drive across Belize, you see the roads are developing, the roads are improving. We need to impress on the government now to start incorporate wildlife-friendly roads so that the wildlife could cross. Most of the time, we're going to look at underpasses in some of these areas. So it's very important that we gather this data before more road improvement happen across the country. So we can plan before rather than try to incorporate it after the plans are made.
I like that. It's beautiful how the term inclusion branches off to more than including humans, right? Including wildlife.
So road is actually, the branch of science is called road ecology.
Road ecology.
Yeah, it's how roads and linear infrastructure influence and affect wildlife.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to read some more on that for sure.
All the integrity, just to understand how we can make sure. Because I always say, people complain about animals, this and that, but we came into their territory and we built and we pushed them out.
We're also animals, like you mentioned,
So it's a thing where we have to kind of give and take and understand how can we mesh it all together so that we all can live.
As Belize develop, we will have increased incidences of wildlife and people at the interface. And we just need to plan for it, whether it's on the highway where we're getting the roadkill, and that's my interest. It started with tapirs because they used to get hit a lot, but when we started piloting this app, we noticed that what hit the news, the jaguar, the puma, the tapir, because those are the big charismatic species. But the smaller mesocarnivores, they're taking a lick.
That's true.
And people might not consider a possum or a raccoon or a coati important. But they're a part of the food chain. They're part of the overall ecosystem.
Somebody's mother,
I love that you said that because it's part of what we go to the schools and teach is empathy for wildlife. As long as we can teach the younger generations to understand them, to empathize with the animals, eventually they can understand why is it that we need to consider these animals when building new roads. So we, teaching them that we share the same resources. They also need food, they also need shelter, they also need water. But they don't live in concrete homes like us. They live in nature.
So
that's very important.
As we start wrapping up on this conversation, Noelle, please extend our viewers an invitation once more to join you at the Belize Zoo for the celebration of National Tapir Day.
Definitely. So Tapir Day, the 26th of April, Sunday, for the Tapir Cake Bake-Off, we are almost closing the registration. We only have 2 spots available as of now. So if you have a group of 4, you can still call the front desk or send us a message, and then we can register you, a group of 4. It has to be from ages 13 and up. The competition itself is free of cost, but you still have to pay your admission, right? So the winning cake, apart from being taken to Sparks for him to enjoy, the group themselves, they get a free guided tour.
Oh, nice.
Yes, they get a free guided tour. On that day, we're also going to have other activities like face painting, bracelet making. We're going to have our Tapir Natural History booth as well to engage and educate people about tapirs as well, and many other activities happening on site during the Tapir Day. And of course, our happy birthday segment where we take the cake to Sparks and we sing
What time
happy
does it all
birthday.
start?
It's going to begin at 9:30. The competition starts at 9:30. So the little happy birthday segment is going to be like around 11.
Okay.
So be sure to be
Perfect
there.
time, just before lunch.
Just
Yeah,
before
happy
lunch.
birthday. He have cake. He have cake.
Oh yeah, and then each participant from the cake competition gets a tote.
That is so
a tote bag.
That's a beautiful.
And also on that day we have 50% off on VR. Last time we came, we showed you the VR. So the virtual reality experiences are going for 50% off.
Look at that. It's the perfect place to be this Sunday.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Coming out with a lot of fun, education, and cake. I mean, man, that's a perfect combination.
That is true. And it's always a great treat to be at the Belize Zoo. You
Yeah.
know? Such a great place to
Yes.
be, for sure.
Can I add one more thing? We
Sure.
also have our Tapir adoption program. If you've been following us on our social medias, every week Dr. Celso is featured talking about the tapir at the zoo. And for a limited time only, we are giving small tapir crochet keychains. I don't have them with me right now, but you can check us on the social media
That's how you
pages.
sponsor a tapir.
Yes, definitely. That's how
So you adopt a tapir, you don't get to take it home.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, because we're the first one like,
Yeah, you adopt a tapir, and we have.
Yeah.
little baby.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, we're like,
Yeah,
this
so you
is
get to take the keychain home. So the first two people to adopt, we have one more tapir to feature.
Yes.
The first two person to adopt that tapir, they get the keychain in their adoption package.
That's so cool. Just
Yeah.
a little baby. I just get that up. And to make sure that they can stay happy and alive and everything in itself. So we can do our parts too.
We can do our parts. Thank you so much for joining us today to highlight,
Yeah.
the importance
Thanks
of
for
tapirs,
having
the
us.
cool facts, and extend an invitation for us to join you at the Belize Zoo to celebrate World Tapir Day, which is going to be very, very
I'm
exciting.
going to say national, but like, no, babe.
World.
World.
Global.
Global, period.
Thanks
This
to
is
April.
international.
Thanks to April.
Come true, April. Godmother,
Godmother
of the tapirs.
Of the tapirs. Yeah.
But we're really grateful for this conversation. We're reminding persons to stay tuned to what's happening this Sunday at the Belize Zoo. And of course, in general, parents and persons all around, make sure you take time to come out to the zoo, support the great work, adopt a tapir, do whatever it is that you can do to make sure the services and the provision of taking care of all of these amazing animals that you know and love are provided for. Somebody's asking if you get to name the tapir also. If you
They're all named. So we normally have a public competition whenever we get a new animal. That's how we include the public to name them. Not just the tapirs, different animals.
Oh, that's cool. So this is why you need to be following the zoo to know exactly what's taking place, because then you can be able to name an animal possibly. You might be able to do that.
Yeah.
But thank you guys so much for the work that you're doing and all the team that's making sure it's possible. I know it's not easy with all of the different barriers that sometimes come in
Definitely it's
contact
teamwork.
with, but it's teamwork that makes the dream work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that, guys, we've come to the ending of the show. We want to thank all our guests that came out. Remember, today and tomorrow, the 22nd and 23rd of April, you can go to the House of Culture because the Belize Book Network Association is having an amazing book fair. They're going to be having like book conversations with panel discussions and all that stuff. And they're going to be having, I hear, music and entertainment
market
and
tonight.
a night market and all that great stuff today and tomorrow. Go check them out and make sure literacy is something on the table in the conversations going around. And of course, we spoke with Monarchy Consulting Group about the free dental and medical clinic happening this Friday, the 24th and 25th at the Marion Jones Sport Complex from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., I believe. But if not, just show up early. That's going to help you.
Yeah, start
and
early.
it starts early, yes. And of course, we were speaking about World Tapir Day that's taking place this Sunday at the Belize Zoo. It is 27th of April, and we know the godmother, April, has allowed us to have this day. So we're really excited to be able to see.
The event at the zoo is the 26th of April.
It's the 26th of April.
But the 27th is
the actual day.
is the
Yes, see,
actual
I
day.
got mixed up. My bad.
Yeah.
So this Sunday, come out to the zoo, come out for the cake competition. We still have teams available. 2 teams still available to make Sparks an amazing cake. They won't give us all the ingredients, but we're going to do what we're going to do. They're not going to give us the secret.
It's a mystery basket.
It's a mystery basket. But with that, guys, we send you off on your Tableaus Wednesday. Join us back here tomorrow for our Tableaus Thursday.
Bye, folks. We love you. Have a great Wednesday.
Bye.
Ugly, come here. Bad. Anyway, them see me, be make gun, them a chat. Bad. Busting up the place with my style. Bad. My Puerto Rico y bailas una chimba. Las europeas, las latinas.
A place to call your home. A place where you can grow. Stand by me and we'll take flight. We'll be there at morning's light. I've got you covered on all concerns we share today. You will discover how the world turns each day. When the sun comes